And we are ready to go from the Exploria Stadium. Orlando Pride entertaining Portland Thorns. Orlando coming in off the back of a 2-1 win away against North Carolina Courage. Their first ever win away at the Courage, and for the Courage, just their first home defeat in a couple of years in NWSL. Sydney Leroux, Alex Morgan, the Stars, were the stars on the day. In getting the goals, a late consolation from Jessica McDonald, not enough to overturn the result. Meanwhile, for Portland, the goals, a late consolation from Jessica McDonald, not enough to overturn the result. Meanwhile, for Portland, Christine Sinclair opened the scoring in their home match at Providence Park against OL Reign on the time. All the scoring done in the first quarter of an hour in that one, and OL Reign coming away with a 2-1 win. Mark Parsons, the Portland manager, telling us in the week, if you drop your levels just a little to pay for it, as Leroux's ball just a bit too heavy in the direction there of Marta. Does very well to win the ball back. 6-time FIFA Women's Player of the Year, back on it now. Leroux allowing it to run as it's cleared out to touch by Natalia Cuica.
And one thing Orlando has really built upon is just the partnerships, the camaraderie, the team togetherness. I think they've lacked that in the years because players had been out with injury or away on national team. I mean, you look at the front runners of Leroux, Morgan, and Marta. They hadn't played together for over 2 years, the three of them on the same starting 11 on the pitch.
Throw and flick through the penalty area there by Korniak. We'll try and use that size to try and get the other end of aerial balls in. Nice soft touch there from Doherty Howard, who's won it back. Let's turn through traffic there as first time through there from Courtney Peterson. Back by Portland. And Horan calmly drifting through that midfield to find Crystal Dunn. Full stretch there. Simone Charlie, but Ashlyn Harris always off her line there to claim.
And you can just see tactically Orlando Pride having the same game plan as they had against North Carolina because they play similar. North Carolina playing with that box midfield and Portland playing with that triangle or with that diamond midfield with Sinclair leading that front tip of it. So again, can they continue playing with that box midfield and Portland playing with that triangle or with that diamond midfield with Sinclair leading that front tip of it. So again, can they condense the spaces, get their fullbacks? And just going back to my defensive point for Orlando, just getting those fullbacks attached to that back line and then having the likes of Leroux and Korniak tucking in and making it extremely difficult to play through the team parts.
Nice ball up towards Korniak there, but just couldn't quite catch it under her spell. Cuica. So there Angela Salem drifting throughout that central midfield, trying to be that metronome, help with the build-up. Today for Rocky Rodriguez, does a great job fulfilling that role. Deflection there from Riley. Now Doherty Howard. Just a bit of miscommunication there with Korniak. It's the 3rd overall pick in the college draft a year ago. Here's Dunn. So now for the overlapping run there of Cuica, but always the favorite to win it and put it out to touch there, Peterson.
And it was interesting talking to both managers just about the defensive work that both teams need to do because of the mental fatigue, because of the heavy legs. Can they be clinical in this first 10, 15 minutes? Don't take any sloppy set pieces in and around the box because mentally they're not switched on right away. Can they make those 2-3 yard pass, connect passes, get numbers in and around the ball early on in this game and set the tempo?
Hubli getting it back from Salem. Well, one there by Simone Charlie. Now onto it there, Lucy. Strong challenge in there from Phoebe McClernand. Korniak has won it back for Orlando. That's Alex Morgan's return ball just a bit too heavy. And out for a throw in. Morgan and Sinclair, the headliners of this one, both having scored the first 2 match days. As you mentioned, Kaylin, Skinner telling us on our call this week, well, we haven't really had a chance to play with our full complement of stars. And now we do have that chance as Harris had to come off her line to deal with that bit of danger as Charlie was running in behind and clattered into McClernand, who has stayed down.
And Harris, for me, I mean, she's been brilliant season after season with this Orlando Pride side. I mean, just that vocal leader, but what she does on the pitch, whether it's PK saves, whether it's coming up big and strong, whether it's making a huge game tackle or save in a match in order just to instill confidence in this backline. Obviously, someone with the likes of with Krieger going down, hopefully this is nothing, maybe just a little bit of a knock, because what she adds in the center back role is something that's irreplaceable. Yes, she's good in that fullback position, but as a center back, again, just the power and strength. You can see Harris just coming through here and nicking the bottom foot, but it looks like Krieger will be all right.
I wonder if that'll be a conversation later between Harris and Krieger. It was not McClernand, it was Krieger who's gone down there. And as you've mentioned, Kaylin, inside from fullback. She's played quite well. Receive a bit more treatment, and Orlando have to make up the numbers in the middle. Korniak now closing down Dunn. Pogarsh. The header was on, and Harris there just spilling it a bit further wide, but the offside flag came up.
And this is where Orlando are going to need to be careful in this match, not giving the midfield of Portland time and space to do movements like this, switch the ball from that right to the left-hand side or vice versa, because when they do that, they allow more front runners to get involved. They allow that late third midfield run, and with the strength and power of these two front runners, of Tyler Lucy and Simone Charlie, they're starting to get better with their vision and awareness off the ball, which is dangerous in that box.
Second ball won there by Lucy for Dunn. There's the early delivery, but now Kuika can pick up that bit of scraps and carry on. Here's Dunn. Now Kuika can pick up that bit of scraps and carry on. Here's Dunn. Crossing towards the back post, but Heroic will be the one who will receive it out the other side. Teasing Riley. And there from Pogarsh. Now Morgan just tried to run around one too many, and Dunn keeping possession for Portland. Won in 4 of their 5 trips to the Exploria Stadium. Overall dominant against this Orlando side in their NWSL history. Jan Stoddard. Joined in a trade ahead of the season from Kansas City. Erica Timrak also joining Orlando. Peterson trying to bend one in towards Morgan. As you heard, Timrak also joining Orlando. Peterson trying to bend one in towards Morgan. As you heard, shouts there from the Portland team.
Defensively, the shifts of LaRue and Korniak, they drop defensively. They put 5 through that midfield, so it leaves Alex Morgan very isolated up top. So again, to add those numbers forward, you got to have that ball movement through that midfield, hold on to it, maybe take on a player, bypass lines in order to support and get numbers around Morgan moving forward.
I'm trying to snap it in behind, but Hans daughter was over there covering. Natsu Kuika, the Finnish fullback, in her first full season after joining ahead of 2020. That first year in Portland is quite lonely. She arrived just as lockdown was beginning. I have to imagine it's difficult to acclimatize from a new country in the best of circumstances. She found her outlet in the end. Moving from Sweden with Göteborg. Moran with not enough on it, but referee awarding a free kick, a rather late decision there. Luru wasn't really having that. Just a quick word here from referee Rodriguez. Just a quick word here from referee Rodriguez.
Lindsey Horan trying to live on the ball. A little bit of a soft one for me. Again, Sydney Leroux, it's just that shoulder to shoulder, but the referee trying to really set the tempo of what she wants in this match early on.
Sauerbrunn, the short free kick. Circle wide for the delivery from Pogarsh. Now Harana's appeals for handball, eventually given by the referee. And a free kick to Orlando. Portland with their first away trip of the season. And it is their longest one. Won 5-0 in the opening day against Chicago Red Stars. And dropped a rare result at home. But even despite that defeat, still have scored twice as many goals as anyone else following that opening day outburst against the Red Stars. Free kick awarded to Portland Thorns. Morgan, who returns back to NWSL after a loan spell with Tottenham Hotspur. A couple of goals after her time in England. Morgan recognizing that ahead of the Olympics, needed to get as many games as possible. Started the season quite well as a strike from distance there from Lucy. Deflection there off of McClernand, who got back to her feet. Now Marta, well, as a strike from distance there from Lucy. Deflection there off of McClernand, who got back to her feet. Now Marta. Pumping run coming there from Peterson. Now Doherty Howard. And Riley. Morgan trying to draw out the defenders as she'll slide in Jan's daughter. Just tries to get something peeled back through that penalty area, but rather easily dealt with there from Hughley. Good skill there from Dunn to evade Marta. Now Pogarsh. He's not getting it right at the vital moment there.
And it's an
Lucy.
Interesting tactical adjustment that Mark Skinner for Orlando has made. He's actually dropped Korniak in just to sit on Angela Salem for Portland. Now, what Angela Salem can add to this game is just being able to play in between that back line and in front of that midfield unit. When she gets on it, she really dictates the tempo. She plays 1-2 touch, rarely loses the ball. So for Korniak, super important role for her today. Can she have that physical presence that will knock Angela Salem off of her game?
Pogarsh started in her 4th year with Portland after joining from Boston Breakers. Now Haran looked like she was lining one up to strike. That through ball didn't quite come off. Doherty Howard got lost in the mayhem there. And Portland have pressed to win it back through Lucy. Cross in towards Charlie there. His looped header is rather easily caught by Ashlyn Harris.
And just defensively, the work that they're doing, especially with Leroux down this left-hand side, so important. And just defensively, the work that they're doing, especially with Leroux down this left-hand side, so important for them when they do win the ball back. Can they connect that first pass and allow a little bit of breathing room? Because
Riley turning towards her own goal. Nearly intercepted there. Ball from Krieger. Here are the shots from Mark Skinner for Taylor Korniak to show for it. Now a throw in to come here for Leroux. And the first 2 matches playing with Morgan were the first time they were on the field together since the birth of their children. Korniak with a lovely turn. Trying to hook it beyond Kuika, get the beating of her for pace, but Kuika just about dealing with it. McLernan high up the pitch there to try and win it back for Orlando Pride. Up for a throw-in. Look at Mark Parsons there. Recently confirmed that he'll be joining the Netherlands national team at the conclusion of the season. It's only a distraction if we let it become one. He's only focused on the players and maximizing his final year in the Pacific Northwest as Ross is cut out there at the near post from Riley. And I'll pick up the second ball as well.
And you can see the heavy legs and the heavy mindset of these players, obviously both exerting a numerous amount of energy on the weekends for the win for Orlando, and obviously Portland trying to claw back to maybe potentially get that draw. And you can see it here really in that final third, just miss-hit passes, not connecting, rushed crosses. So just moving forward, just have a little bit more patience in that final third because the build-up play is getting there, and that'll come as the game opens up as well.
Yeah, Mark Skinner telling us he was actually surprised at how well his team had recovered following a trip to North Carolina and such an exertion. Skinner continuing to shout in his technical areas. Sinclair now trying to cause LaRue a problem. It's Korniak who loses out. And away there from Peterson. Portland trying to get numbers forward. Cause Orlando problems. And talking to Mark Parsons, he was saying that seen teams even on tired legs like Portland might have put in strong performances, but they usually come in second halves. You would think you'd be more tired, but you find the mental energy, and that's what he was talking about, was having that mental energy to know that from minute one, you give it a go. The
mental energy, but then also the players that you can bring off the bench. Obviously, making those five substitute with Klingenberg. When she comes on, she's a threat on set pieces, getting forward down the left-hand side. Westfall really starting to come on. Rocky Rodriguez, just that energy in the midfield and really being able to connect passes. And then bringing two front runners off the bench of Morgan Weaver and Sophia Smith. They're continuing to build confidence. And then bringing two front runners off the bench of Morgan Weaver and Sophia Smith. They're continuing to build confidence.
Throwing to come for plaudits coming from both coaches for their players. Parsons there for Haran. As again, Pogarsh will come forward. Has had plenty of opportunities to overlap. Nice turn there from Charlie. Now Sinclair lining one up from a long way out. It's not a bad effort. Is it from Christine Sinclair? Nearly scoring from outside the penalty area for a second straight week.
And she's felt that one. Obviously, I'm smiling behind the TV because this is what Christine Sinclair does so well. I mean, she's continuing to impress even at the age, both on and off the ball, her vision and awareness. I mean, getting in good goal-scoring opportunities. And for a player like her, she's got heavy legs, heavy mindset, and she goes, you know what? I'm going to test Harris early on in this game and maybe get some energy into this Portland side in that final third.
It was a decent effort there. It's the third player in NWSL history on 50 league goals. There's a shove through the back there of LaRue there from Haran. Joining Sam Kerr and Lynn Williams on that distinction. Sinclair.
And someone of Christine Sinclair, I mean, a lot of people saying when she retiring, you know, she's getting older, she's getting up there, she doesn't move like she used to move. Well, she's gotten smarter is what she's added to her game. Just her runs, her clinicalness, she used to move. Well, she's gotten smarter is what she's added to her game. Just her runs, her clinicalness in and around the box has, I mean, look at the little cheeky goal that she scored last week.
The all-time leading international goal scorer in either the men's or women's game. Oh, and it's pressed there, nearly causing Ali Krieger a problem. That second ball off of Charlie there. Just coming to her rescue. Now Marta. Lovely skill there. To right-footed deliveries into Korniak. Loose header is flashed wide.
This is so much better for Orlando, moving the ball forward, getting the ball down to Marta. Obviously, the last two games, Marta sitting in that number 10 role. Tactically, they've just switched that, putting Korniak in that central role for moments like this. With heavy legs, Marta can beat 2, 3, 4 players, put quality balls into the box, and then you have someone with the structure of Korniak, just that aerial threat.
Nice first touch from Dunn there to send herself on her way. Charlie was really threatened in behind for Portland down that left-hand side, causing Riley and Krieger to sweat out that right side of defense. She's on it again. Good step there from Korniak, and you mentioned, Kaylin, that work there of Korniak to shield Angela Salem.
And that was one thing, too, that Mark Skinner said, that she went overseas and really continued to improve her game in order to come back into the NWSL and see where best situated. Obviously, they started her up top in the Challenge Cup, then moved her out wide. And the defensive work, too, that she's starting to understand in this playing structure.
Ball to find Peterson, who's got work to do to get around Haran. And good pressing there from LaRue as the second ball finds Peterson once more. Crosses come through the penalty area, and Morgan wasn't quite there to turn it home. Sauerbrunn dealing with it in the end after Hughley missed the initial effort. Again, pressing there. LaRue now finding Morgan. Korniak dinking behind in towards Morgan, who lets her on. Alex Morgan! Lovely delivery from Korniak, but Alex Morgan is on fire to start 2021. 3-3, and Orlando hit the front.
And whoever said they were waiting for her to find her form, well, wake up. She's found her form. This is a clinical Alex Morgan strike. Doesn't take a touch, hits this on the half volley, but it's the run from Alex Morgan, splitting that center back fullback channel. She just rolls off, makes that space big enough for her to hit this first time. But how about Korniak's ball? A little cheeky chip over this back line, perfectly put onto a platter, and Alex Morgan is never missing that one. Well done, Orlando Pride 1-0 early on in this match.
What a ball that was from Korniak. And it's also her initial defensive action that starts the play as well.
And this
getting involved.
This is where she's really progressed her game, whether she's played out wide. She's really starting to understand what she's good at, what she needs to work on, and what she needs to do in order for this team to have a good performance. That defensive work, tactically, moving her inside, helping her deal with Angela Salem when we saw her win this ball back. And then on the offensive end, having the vision and awareness to find players like Alex Morgan. Everyone in the world knows that Alex Morgan loves to go down that left-hand side, but no one can mark her because she's so good off the ball.
Beautiful, beautiful goal from Orlando Pride. And it's interesting, the relationship between those two players in particular, is it'll be a Portland corner here. Salem will come over to take it.
And it was interesting to hear from Mark Skinner that Alex Morgan actually pulled her aside in training, clipped video from her, and they sat down together. Coming from Alex Morgan, not coming from a coach. She put together the time to clip.
As Salem will loft it into the penalty area there, as Harris will come out and claim. Yeah, Skinner was telling us that he actually had a session scheduled with Korniak to talk about things, but he delayed it because Morgan kind of beat him to the punch.
Yeah, Korniak said, can we maybe push our meeting to tomorrow? And he was like, why is that? And she said, well, Alex has actually clipped a lot of video for me of what I can do better in games and what I've been doing well. So again, it really says a lot about how Alex Morgan's changing her game off the pitch as well since the birth of her daughter, just really taking players under her wing.
Marta. And now a real noise coming from this Exploria Stadium crowd. They have that sense of anticipation as Marta's delivery is right at Adriana Franch. He's only had that one save to make, but there's not really much she can do about that kind of effort from Alex Morgan. Score of 109 goals for the U.S. women's national team. Called into their most recent squad, which was unveiled a few days ago. Here's Dunn. Definitely make the Olympic squad on this kind of form. Definitely make the Olympic squad on this kind of form. Horan now, or Charlie, but good reading of the game and even better tackle there.
That really picked it up is through that back line, especially with the two defensive midfielders. Obviously, Johnsdotter started off in the Challenge Cup as a fullback. He's now moved her into the midfield because she can play everywhere on the pitch, and she's really solidified and helped this back four not concede goals.
Wasn't there from Doherty. Howard to turn away from Dunn as Riley will now come forward. Drift around Pogarsh. Felt like she got it off of Riley, and it won't be an Orlando throw. Portland's left back Pogarsh with the correct appeal there. Pogarsh, who has played in the U.S. Women's National Team under 23 side. Hope for a full call-up at some point. Morgan again combining there with Koniak. Lovely back heel there. Orlando turning on the style points. Morgan drifting through and won herself a free kick. And then a late challenge in from LaRue as well. All happening there is Tyler Lucy with the foul there on Morgan, who did well to get ball side.
And these are those set pieces in and around the box that I talked about early on. Just silly tackles when you have that cover in support, taking down Alex Morgan. They have threats on these set pieces that can hit these ones. But again, it's the work rate. You can see Sydney LaRue. It's the work rate. You can see Sydney LaRue. Obviously, the whistle had gone, but still making that defensive recovery. And we've seen it time and time again in just 2 weeks of the opening season.
Great noise from the supporters. Marta and Riley over the free kick, which Morgan has won, already on the score sheet. Piece of sublime skill, both the finish and the assist, as Marta will deliver into the penalty area as Franch will come off her line and rather easily catch. Franch, who didn't play in 2020 due to a knee injury.
You can see Portland starting to get frustrated trying to hit that Route 1 football to try to open up the game. But where they thrive is through that middle four with Horan, Sinclair, Dunn, and Angela Salem. Can they start living on it? Can they start playing in between those tight gaps, turning, running at this back four, and starting to open up the game that way?
Peterson bursting forward with the cast in her right arm as now LaRue finds Morgan out wide. Gonna stop for a moment. She felt like she was offside, and her suspicions were correct as the assistant's flag was raised. Morgan with just a quick word there from the referee. These 3 goals in 3 games are Morgan's first in NWSL since 2018. For Mark Skinner, a revelation this has been. He's gotten the opportunity after a really rough 2019. Didn't participate in the Challenge Cup in 2020 due to COVID-19. But getting a chance now with the full complement of players that are on this roster. And you can already see the results in his side's favor.
And just the mindset too, obviously having not successful seasons, it starts to weigh heavy on your shoulders and you start to think, oh, let's just get a point out of this and not even think about winning matches. And you can see the shift in these players. They know they can win these matches. They have a game plan. They know how to break teams down, and defensively they're getting very difficult to beat.
Again, good defending there, that time from Phoebe McClernand. Couple of strong challenges as Harris does well to find Riley. Portland do like to press high up and cause their opposition a problem, but Orlando confident and calm on the ball. Thus far not conceded goal-scoring chance from their own mistakes. Sauerbrunn came forward to win it, but now Morgan will try and get round her. And Becky Sauerbrunn dealing with it with a soft header, but then that pressing work done there by Koniak. Throwing is Morgan. Didn't quite find that back pass. Nearly a half hour gone. Orlando Pride in front of Portland Thorns by an Alex Morgan goal to nil. There's a goal to savor. Charlie. His first touch to send herself on her way there, Kuika. Finding Haran. Delivery in there from Pogarsh. Madison Pogarsh's delivery was dealt with there, but Sinclair now looking to threaten. Pogarsh not really forward enough to great crossing opportunity, but still gets one away as Charlie was threatening. Didn't quite get clean purchase on it, but not a bad delivery from that position there from the Portland left back, and LaRue now to carry forward. Morgan there. Wanting to play a quick passing game there with LaRue, just a little bit slow there in making that forward run. Salem. First time in some time getting some space on it. On the next pass is a decent one towards Dunn. He lets it run, but LaRue quickly there. Now McClernand under some pressure is giving it away. Crystal Dunn with an opportunity. Here's Crystal Dunn, whose right-footed effort is saved there from Harris. Didn't quite catch it cleanly. And Orlando with a bit of a let-off there as Riley gets clear.
And it's a great save from Harris. And like you just alluded to, didn't get enough on it. Obviously, win this one in the midfield. LaRue coming back, doing the defensive work, and just too many touches on it for the center back. And again, Crystal Dunn just not getting enough power behind this one.
Just as they're saying that Orlando hadn't really been pressed into an error. That time it was a mistake as a long-range effort there from Lucy is rather easily dealt with, but alarm bells at the back for Orlando. That last passage in play.
You could see in that build-up with Portland, obviously with the players, with the likes of Crystal Dunn, just playing in that half position.
The back for Orlando. That last passage in play.
You could see in that build-up with Portland, obviously with the players, with the likes of Crystal Dunn, just playing in that half position. Yes, Sydney Leroux came back in the wingers and really condensing that space, of not allowing Portland to play through.
Again, a giveaway in the middle has allowed Dunn to charge this Orlando defense as Sinclair running beyond her, but tackled off it at the vital moment. McClernand has in this first half. Vital defensive actions there. As falling behind there from Kuika, just a bit overhit. And will come out there for a goal kick to Orlando Pride. But still Dunn, though, the beneficiary of a couple of giveaways in the center of the park from just about done enough to preserve their lead. Orlando playing their second home match of the year, drew 1-1 in the opening day against Washington Spirit. Here's Marta. Harris now is again pressure arriving that time from Lucy. Peterson doing well to retreat and provide the option. It'll be a throw-in to Orlando, much to Dunn's surprise.
And I like the patience from Orlando trying to play out of the back. Usually you would see them try to play route one football, but again, having that confidence with Krieger in that back line. I was hard on Allie Riley in the Challenge Cup because I know what she can add to teams. It's that confidence of living on the ball, that calming presence. And then you're starting to see it from McClernand, just defensively making big tackles, stepping through to the midfield, allowing Krieger time and space on the ball.
Strong header there from Young's daughter, but Portland back on it. We'll continue. It's a very difficult run at the weekend against Gotham FC. Traveling from northwest to the southeast to the northeast. We'll run for the side from the Pacific Northwest. Is again the cross coming in there. And Simone Charlie's had a couple of occasions there to win in the air. That time directing it towards goal, but not with enough power.
Yeah, Portland's had some good quality balls into the box. We didn't see that the first maybe 10 minutes of the match, but it comes down to good defense from Orlando, getting goal side, getting touch tight, and not allowing players like Tyler Lucy or Simone Charlie time and space in the box.
LaRue now trying to slide in and poke it off of Kuika. She got the ball and played it off the Portland right back and poke it off of Kuika. She got the ball and played it off the Portland right back, and correct in her assessment. And it'll be a throw-in to Orlando. 3-year extension ahead of the season. Marta. Nice interplay. Going for Peterson. He's just trying to play it off of Lindsay Horan. I think Horan suspected that it did come off her, and now LaRue will find Morgan in the penalty area. Now Marta has Korniak as the option. We'll turn and lay it off with, I think, Doherty Howard in towards Morgan to the penalty. A little bit of a bump there from Sauerbrunn. It will matriculate out for a goal kick. Drumbeat here at the Exploria Stadium, which has become the home of American soccer in the pandemic period. Hosting She Believes Cup. That means for both the U.S. and men's and women's national teams. Hosted the CONCACAF Champions League, their bubble tournament.
And I will say some of the most passionate fans in the league. I mean, they show up week in and week out.
LaRue. Slide it for Korniak. First time crosses in towards Morgan, who gets the touch, tries to take herself towards goal, but white and gray shirts were there to pounce. Now Peterson. Korniak with Morgan, tries to get inside, but another good challenge from behind, that time from Kuika. Kept in play though from Doherty Howard, the first time ever from LaRue. Takes a deflection off Salem. As again, Orlando continuing to press the issue. That's a heavy coming together in the middle there, as Charlie taking a chunk there out of Gunny Young's daughter. It will be a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card. That's a heavy coming together in the middle there, as Charlie taking a chunk there out of Gunny Young's daughter. It will be a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card as well.
And this is a silly tackle. Obviously, Charlie, frustrated with her first touch, goes to ground, cleats up again. John's daughter luckily comes off. Hopefully she's okay. But this is a cleats up tackle. I think Simone Charlie gets very lucky on this one with just coming off with the yellow.
Yeah, you would imagine perhaps with VAR that potentially would have been looked at. But as you mentioned, Kaylin, Charlie just coming off with a yellow.
And it comes down to, you know, that mental fatigue. It's starting to set in. Just over 5 minutes to go to halftime. So can these players defensively be sound? Portland not concede another goal and really have that communication. You have the cover and you have the support, so don't take silly fouls in middle of the park or in and around your box, or anywhere for that matter.
And it will be McClernand over the free kick. Send it out to Riley with a better angle to put the cross in. Header from Dunn. Morgan there with LaRue. Three big stars in the side there in a triangle as Marta digs it out to find Doherty Howard. Korniak drifting through that penalty area. Always the favorite to win any header, but going beyond her and out for a goal kick.
And see the momentum shift with Orlando as well, just pressing a little bit higher up the pitch. They can see that Portland's starting to fatigue. They are really not finding any passes out, not being able to attach passes to that midfield, so stepping on a little bit higher up the pitch.
Haran being harassed. But not quite a foul. It will be Portland awarded advantage there. Here, Mark Parsons wanting a free kick there. Coming forward here, Kelly Hubley. Loose there, and LaRue is able to poke it forward, and now a race forward. Kuika doing the solid backtracking. LaRue wasn't quite ready to make her run in behind.
I know we're only 3 games into the season, but Sydney Leroux has changed the way she's played. She's changed her game. She's gotten fitter. She's gotten faster. Obviously, coming off having 2 kids, she looks incredible. I need to know who her trainer is, because the defensive work that she puts into this Orlando side is second to none. She's back in the 18-yard box and then makes a 60-yard run up in order to support players like Alex Morgan, like Korniak. She's been brilliant for Orlando.
Bit of the eyes there from Dunn towards Peterson after they came together. As it's taken short, Kuika will make her run down that right side, as Peterson just stood her ground and won the ball back for Orlando. And Peterson just sending it forward despite the lack of a target to allow Orlando to break out from their shell. Approaching the break here at the Exploria Stadium. As Orlando Pride lead through an Alex Morgan goal to nil. Crossing there from Kuika. Arriving there, Charlie, and she's put it away. Has had a couple of chances through the air. And perhaps fortunate to be on the pitch. She puts one away. Simone Charlie has drawn Portland level just before the break.
And Mark Parson has said it time and time again with this front four, whether it's Tyler Lucy, Simone Charlie, they're starting to develop. And again, coming off a tackle, yellow card, having to get your mind right. This is a brilliant ball into the box, by the way, from Kuika that gets the start over Westfall, up over, but it's the run from Charlie, just pulling off that center back and then having that power behind that header to beat Ashlyn Harris with a defender that is touch tight. It's good marking from Orlando. Charlie just wins this ball in the air. 1-1, game on.
I should say the service from wide areas has been superb in this match from Portland. Just needed the response, which Simone Charlie has provided.
And this is one thing too with Simone Charlie, just what she's added to her game, that aerial threat. She's so good and getting better with her runs off the ball, getting behind back fours, and then with the ball at her feet starting to develop there as well. So she can continue to improve. You can see what this means to everyone, obviously, with the fatigue setting in, everyone getting involved. You love to see this.
Mark Parsons, I think, perhaps making a correct case there in front of the fourth official. It's either a handball or a Portland throw. It can't possibly be an Orlando throw.
And this is what Portland does to you, because they do have so much depth and they're so clinical in that final third. They've struggled here in this first 45 minutes, haven't been able to build out the back, haven't been able to find those midfield platforms, and it comes from one cross and a great finish from Simone Charlie.
Nice ball to find Pogarsh coming forward. It's lofted in the penalty area. Sinclair was threatening, as was Lucy. But Harris moved to her line and able to hang on to that one. Being told there'll be a minimum of 2 minutes to be added at the end of this first half, as Riley will come forward. Doherty Howard, or rather Jan's daughter, with a bit too much running to do there for Riley on that through ball. Nice first time ball there from Lucy, is done in some space down this right. Early in towards Charlie, who again was liable to win in the air. That's out for a goal kick, but and making the runs in between the fullbacks and the center backs.
And this again starts with Tyler Lucy just popping off the front and Crystal Dunn doing what she does best. I mean, living in difficult areas on the pitch, the ability with her ball at her feet at pace is incredible. And then finding and having that vision just to put it over the top of that back four with Simone Charlie in behind.
Confirmation of the minimum of 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half. Nice skill there from Korniak. Looked every bit the player that third overall in the college draft out of Colorado. An all-time leading assist getter and points getter in program history for the Buffaloes. Done back for Kuika. Makes that running behind. Here is Kuika's delivery. Cut out there by McClernand at the near post. A chance for Portland from a set piece just before the interval.
This partnership down this right-hand side is really starting to build after that goal, obviously, coming from Kuika into the box. And again, you're seeing it here, just the play with Kuika getting a little bit higher up the pitch, not getting pinned so far back, and then that interplay with Crystal Dunn in that midfield.
Angela Salem to take the corner. And Horan there with a chance as Charlie will direct it towards goal. Lucy kept keeping it in play. Crystal Dunn got something on it, but Korniak trying to take it out of play and manages to have it carry him off of Horan. And now for a goal kick. Ashlyn Harris, who sees one go into the back of her net. Header from Simone Charlie. Too heavy there from Korniak. Not sure she was looking for Marta, but it came off her. It was pulled down there by Salem, and she knows exactly what she's doing in breaking up that counter-attack and earns herself a yellow card from referee Rodriguez.
It's another silly yellow card for Portland. Again, Angela Salem obviously trying to have a tactical foul, but she's got cover and support. She's got 4 players behind her. It's a 4v2, so it's not necessary to pick up a yellow card early on in this game.
And there is Salem breaking up the play. Again, Shore with Riley. We'll play the cross in. Marta was tracking, but it's away from Sinclair. And there is the halftime whistle. Orlando Pride opening the scoring through a lovely goal. Taylor Korniak finding night. Morgan opened the scoring, but Charlie found the response as we begin the second 45 minutes of play. Will there be a winner decided in this NWSL contest? Chris Whittingham, Kaylin Kyle here for second half commentary. As playing towards their own goal, it's a poor back pass, and Sydney LaRue is there to pounce. Kelly Hubley with the error at the back. And LaRue scored for a second match running. And Orlando have their lead back inside of 20 seconds.
And this could be the worst start going into the second match that Portland were looking for. Obviously bringing the likes of Sophia Smith off the bench to add energy into the side. And it's the back line. It's that mental fatigue that we talked about in that first 45 minutes. A bad defensive error. Hubley is caught in that half mind. Do I play back or do I put my ball through this, get this one out? And Sydney LaRue, I've been talking about her for 3 weeks now. It's the defensive work, it's the willingness to press high up the pitch, and then again, being clinical in that final third. The partnership between her and Morgan is starting to build, it's starting to grow. And again, back-to-back games with both of them on the goal or on the score sheet is what you want to see from this Orlando side.
And just like that, Orlando back in the lead as Hubley will not want to see that one again. All of a sudden, Portland find themselves chasing the game yet again. It is Sydney LaRue scored in the match against North Carolina Courage And Sophia Smith with an opportunity early doors here in the second half now to find the response, and it's flashed it across the face of goal. Harris beat on the back post, but beat the post as well there, the effort there from Smith.
And great work from Sophia Smith down this right-hand side, just having that calmness, that presence. This is what Portland and why they wanted to bring her off the bench tonight. Obviously, she put a big shift in on the weekend, but to bring someone like her off the bench, she can go at players. She can go at players 2v1, and she's smooth and silky, and then she's got that confidence to beat world-class goalkeepers like Harris.
Riley sees it fly over her head, but Hogarth's there to pick it back up for Portland. Alex Morgan. Kept in play there by Doherty Howard rather nicely. Parsons thought straight away it was coming out for a throw as LaRue is again on it. Will get turned. As now keeping possession through Maggie Doherty Howard. Peterson. Across a decent one in towards Korniak. It was goofy spill there by Franch, but claimed there by the Portland keeper. Two-time goalkeeper of the year. Saved the penalty in their Challenge Cup final win over Gotham. She'll now find Sauerbrunn. For Madison Pogarsh. Sinclair trying to dink it behind towards Smith. Now Krieger has to take it towards their own goal to try and get rid. And that pressing there from Charlie was intense, but man, it came off her last and out for the goal kick. Well, now then. Referee, after consult with the assistant, does indeed make the decision to award a goal kick. Brief bit of confusion there, but the correct decision in the end. Orlando now looking to extend their run of getting points from their first few matches of the season. That's Riley there with a little shove in on Lindsay Horan, who stayed down. Line that one up. I guess went in shoulder to shoulder in the judgment of the referee. As Peterson finds a nice out ball there from Marta. Definitely turning on it as ever, but nice sliding challenge in there from Sinclair. Now Smith cutting inside, her left-footed effort. Well saved there by Harris down to her right. Sophia Smith with a couple of nice cameos here in the opening 5 minutes of this second half. 21-year-old who turned pro ahead of 2020 out of Stanford. It's the #1 overall pick, the youngest ever #1 overall pick. But it came out in the wrong year. You know, having a go, having already scored 2 goals on this season. And you can see how. Of Windsor, Colorado. Riley with Krieger. A nice step into the void. But Riley dispossessed there by player celebrating a birthday today. Lindsay Horan turning 27. Already won 93 caps with the national team. Now Salem. Sinclair finds Horan. Left-footed cross comes off of Riley, and it'll be a corner to Portland.
And you can see Sinclair and Horan really trying to set the tempo, trying to get stuck in on tackles. Sinclair doing the defensive work, trying to win balls, just to add a little bit of a spark in this Portland side.
Horan from the short corner. Closed down by Marta, but found a window to strike. But Ashlyn Harris never going to be too bothered about that kind of effort. Just bends right into her 2 gloves. Mark Skinner felt a real sense of encouragement following their win against North Carolina. I'd say we're not going to carry it away, but it's feeling like it's a great indication of where they are in their process of growth as a team. So Marta giving away there on Doherty Howard. Heavy challenge in there from Krieger to get round Sophia Smith, who's introduced there to defending of the highest level. Morgan. Nice chop around the defender. Looked like she was going to go down there under the weight of the challenge there from Hubley. Followed out Morgan. It's now Korniak. It's the cross first time, but gets it wrong there as it's sliced out for a goal kick to Portland.
And Orlando have just really done a copy and paste from that last match. Obviously going against a North Carolina side where Paul Riley loves to play with that box midfield, tries to catch you on the transition in that counterattack. The only really tactical adjustment they've made, and it's been brilliant and it's worked, is just rolling Marta a little bit into a wider position where we saw her in the Challenge Cup playing Korniak into more of a central role to help deal with the defensive mids of Portland, really stop the tempo of the play, because that is where they are successful. So again, the defensive work Orlando's doing, the shift they're putting in, the amount of numbers that LaRue and Marta are putting up with just the amount that they are covering on the pitch here tonight.
Done. Charlotte now trying to get round McLernan there, who has been a great last line of defense tonight for Orlando. They're doing well to keep possession. Portland with plenty of numbers forward. Trying to make that next pass difficult. As Korniak received but lost out. Now trying to get that challenge round Angela Salem. Dunn clipping into the penalty area. Smith was ghosting inside of Krieger there. The offside flag up against her.
Good defensive positioning again by Krieger. You saw her moments ago just step through on Sophia Smith, not allowing her that time and space to turn where she is successful, and then there being on the right side of the ball in between the net and Sophia.
Ooh. Haran there with the meg of Morgan. And now we'll get charging towards goal. Try the 1-2 there with Dunn, who instead turned away from the pressure. Now Smith trying to hit the cross in first time. It came off her last for a goal kick to Orlando Pride. Peterson. Nice job there by Morgan to send Peterson on her way. Could have carried into that space, instead found Marta. Marta will now slide it back towards Courtney Peterson. Just tried to direct it towards goal. Came off a Sauerbrunn, and it has gone out for a corner to Orlando. Nice work there from Courtney Peterson. 23-year-old played every minute after being drafted by Orlando in the college draft.
It's been so fun to watch LaRue, Morgan, and Marta tonight here on the pitch. And really all season long. Yes, we're only 3 games in, but for me, LaRue has been player of the match here tonight. Yes, we're only 55 minutes in, but what she is doing defensively and adding to this attack is allowing Morgan that time and space to pop off that front.
Corner whipped in towards Marta. Got well underneath it. For a moment like it was going to stay in play, but sailed out for a goal kick. A little more than 10 minutes gone at the Exploria Stadium. Orlando pouncing on a defensive error just after the break to retake the advantage. Keeping a bit of possession here through Gunnion's daughter. Morgan there trying to find LaRue, who's moved to this right side in this second half. We do see a bit of fluidity in that line in behind Morgan between Marta, LaRue, and Korniak in the 4-2-3-1. That's Sinclair. Krieger recognized the ability to step and win the ball. Wanted it back there from LaRue. Turns instead and slides it back with Riley. Nice ball there from McClernand to find Peterson down this left. Marta, you see the feints in either direction, affording herself some space. Now Doherty Howard wants the run in behind there from LaRue and will slide it in. Here is LaRue's pull back towards Alex Morgan. Getting in the way there, Hubley. And just come out for a corner to Orlando.
And the confidence in this Orlando side, just with the build-up play. Obviously, Portland starting to fatigue. The team parts are starting to open up. You have players with the likes of Marta living on the ball, dribbling cross-field, which is allowing spaces and gaps to open up. A brilliant run from LaRue yet again. Doherty and Johnsdotter really dictating tempo in that midfield. For Portland, they need to bring someone off the bench. They need to bring Rocky Rodriguez in to really change the momentum of this match.
Also have Megan Klingenberg available as well. Already made the one change at the break with Smith on. It's made an impact as Peterson will have the attempted swing in the corner in. We'll come to Martha on the second ball, but Krieger just getting it wrong. And now a chance to break there. Krieger doing that backtracking, but she left it there for Kuika to win. Went out directed towards goal. Perhaps trying to catch Ashlyn Harris out, but that almost crossed it straight towards her.
And Ashlyn Harris is never getting caught out there. So for Kuika, I like that she's trying to attempt that. But again, you're getting into that final third. It's good pressure down this right-hand side. Can you just live on it a bit? Allow your midfielders to get a breather because they've been defending for the last 10 minutes.
Kuika getting her touch wrong there down that right-hand side. The Finn. Two-time Finnish Women's Footballer of the Year at just 25 years of age. Portland preparing a couple of subs. Emily Menges will come on along with Megan Klingenberg, but it's one back here by Portland who come forward through Sophia. Smith tries to send it through that penalty area. Dealt with there by Krieger. You can see that she receives the ball in her own box, is not fearful of taking a few touches and assessing her options. But it is one back by Portland, now done with Haran. Here is Lindsay Haran, who lined up a strike. Johnsdotter in the way. And now LaRue perhaps to spring a counter. The ball in behind towards Morgan. Nearly inch perfect there, but Hubley getting turned to poke it out. Now the changes will be confirmed. Klingenberg and Menges. Pogarsh will make way from left back for the entry of Klingenberg. I thought had one of the most enjoyable quotes I've ever seen from a footballer. He described herself in this season as having a bleeping blast.
I love it. That's a bit of me.
And it will be Menges who will come on for Kelly Hubley. We'll have to lick her wounds from the bench after the mistake has given Orlando a 2-1 lead. Going from Marta. Nice turn there on it from Maggie Doherty Howard. Finding Marta again. Crossing towards Morgan, just tried to get something on it. Will come here for Sydney LaRue, whose strike took a deflection off the substitute Klingenberg and allowed Portland to get rid.
And you can feel Orlando's confidence growing, living in that final third, putting good quality balls in, players being in the right positions. Again, Portland realizing that and bringing 2 defensive subs off the match, and they are still down a goal.
It'll be a corner to come for Peterson, who's been responsible for the deliveries from that right side. I believe the referee was directing an assistant away from Peterson, who's giving set piece instructions as it's whipped into the near post. Doherty Howard trying to track it in the air, but it's Krieger who's gone up and won it, but clear there from Smith. Peterson can pick up that second ball though and slide it to halfway with Riley. And to look the more likely to get the next goal. So waves of pressure continue. Peterson staying it right back from the corner. Doherty Howard going down there on the way to the challenge from Haran, but it's Doherty Howard falling into Dunn that is going to set piece to Portland Thorns.
And Portland just needs to do a better job of stopping the switch of attack, whether it's the two center backs living on it. They need to make a decision. Do we want to allow Orlando to play wide, or do we want them allowed them to play through? Because right now, they're having both options. They can play through and they are playing around. So can they get the team parts tighter and maybe force them into playing wide and then collapse down on them with that diamond midfield?
As Marissa Vigiano being prepared as a sub for Orlando to come on as the ball is hit long up towards Charlie. Now keeping it in play there, Salem. Dunn giving it back to her. Dunn on it again. Klingenberg is making that run in behind, but Sinclair back on it. Sharp passing here from Portland Thorns as Klingenberg is slid in. Her cross takes a deflection off of LaRue. As Salem will send it back in towards Charlie. It's over her head and marshaled out for a goal kick.
And this is what a player of Klingenberg can add. It's just that overlapping run, the quality ball into the box, and again, that leadership. You could hear even when she was making the substitute, telling her to hurry up, get off the pitch. We need to add a spark. We need to add some energy into this game.
As Vigiano will be prepared to come on. Signed a 2-year extension ahead of the season. Got a run in the side when all the international players were away. And Mark Skinner taking advantage of her opportunity. And she should be an inspiration to all young soccer players. Take advantage of your opportunity when given. She sprints on into that central midfield area for Maggie Doherty Howard. Jonsdottir put through the ringer today. A lot of physical challenges, was on the receiving end of a fairly heavy challenge from Simone Charlie that earned her a yellow card. Here is Vigiano. Krieger again. There's a couple of touches forward. Find herself on her way to play that next pass. That one overcooked. Herself on her way to play that next pass. That one overcooked. Sauerbrunn.
Yes! Still there! Connie, go! Connie, go!
Done. Her low delivery is easily claimed there from Harris. Wanted to make way for Mark Skinner to coach on our broadcast.
Yeah, Mark Skinner was just doing our job for us, but you love to hear it. He's obviously brought on Vigiano just to add that pressure and the ability to really be at that box-to-box midfield. But again, for Portland, not allowing them that time and space, because that is where they are threatening, especially when you have just over 20 minutes to go into this match. You don't want them to have that time and space and really dictate the tempo of the game.
Morgan, always so crafty to try and settle those touches. Couldn't get around Klingenberg. Who restarts the play. Skinner had plenty of praise for this Portland side. They have wonderful, wonderful players, was his quote. Also on our call in the week. Now comes against them here. Tackle in there, a strong one from Haran. Catching a fair chunk of Taylor Korniak.
And it really is a breath of fresh air, obviously, jumping on the call with Mark Skinner and just the passion that he has in coaching. But first and foremost, treating players like humans. That was the one thing that he really wanted to implement here, is treating these players with that communication and being honest and open and having and allowing the team to have a voice as well. So having those open up conversations of what's working in the games, what's not working in the game. So again, when you do have big stars on a team, he knows that is how you have to manage in order for them to be successful, and it's already shown up 3 games into the season.
Morgan trying to get some torque on that power to Morgan trying to get some torque on that power towards LaRue, but it's Korniak who's won it. Korniak having to let it. Alex Morgan, though, needs to put in a great shift in this one. Now on 3 NWSL goals. Taylor Korniak certainly played her role. But again, it's 2 star attackers, Morgan and LaRue, on the score sheet. Now Marta. Vigiano is carried on her run, returning it for Marta. Marta bursting through, just getting it out of her feet, finding Vigiano cutting inside. Now that next option is with Alex Morgan. It's feints either way, and settling it there with Korniak. Now Vigiano to run it. Kuika, 14 versus 14. Vigiano trying a strike, and it comes off the Portland right back. Now Smith trying to hold the ball up, keep it for Portland under some duress, but did come off in the end of Orlando's Phoebe McClernand, and it will be a throw in down that right side. Portland having to summon the energy to keep on going. Make another change as Rocky Rodriguez will be prepared to come on. Here's Dunn. Sending Jonsdottir either way, putting her through the spin cycle as cross is sent in. Covered on the back post by Haran. Klingenberg took advantage of how that ball sat up. Tried that right-footed volley as it sails into the supporter section.
And Crystal Dunn just naturally floating down this left-hand side with the players like Klingenberg that's come into this match. Klingenberg naturally gets forward. She creates overload, and Crystal Dunn has recognized that. You saw that individual brilliance that she has on the ball, beating 2-3 players, putting a good ball into the box. Now it's the other players. They need to make good runs. One front post, one back post, one coming across hairs. Make it difficult in those areas.
As player down is Morgan, came awkwardly off the side of her head, and certainly fears off concussion off how that looked in the aerial duel there with Haran. As Morgan will receive treatment, we'll have a change, and Angela Salem will make way for Rocky Rodriguez. That was a change that you thought should be made there, Kaylin, but real concerns here about Alex Morgan. Certainly hope everything is okay. So when the Orlando players will come over to the technical areas, there is confirmation of the change. Also, final throw of the dice from manager Mark Parsons as Simone Charlie will make way for Morgan Weaver. It's a pair of assists from the first 2 match days of the season. So all 5 changes used by Mark Parsons as Morgan has sat up. Take a sip of water here. She'll continue to receive some treatment and help back up to her feet. Gives the head nod. You can see a measure of discomfort there for the Orlando center forward.
You can see a big scratch down her neck as well. I'm not sure if that was from, doesn't seem to be from the ball, maybe just a hand. So it's great to see her up on her feet. I mean, she's an absolute warrior. She's proven goal scorer. And again, really leading this Orlando side tonight. I do like the substitutes coming off the bench with Weaver. She can really add into this final third, that energy that they need, getting a little bit of higher pressure up the pitch, because right now Portland's very disjointed in their press, and then bringing someone in like Rocky Rodriguez that can really dictate that tempo, get the ball off the back line, and really get the most dangerous players on the ball with Sinclair, Horan, and Crystal Dunn.
And now Morgan will head back to the Orlando technical area. It does look like she's going to be prepared to come back on. Gives a thumbs up there. And now the play will restart. Wasn't a foul in that from Iran. There's a quick conversation there with Marta. Such a charismatic figure. Signed a new contract ahead of the season. The club's all-time leader in goals and assists. He's also the all-time leader for goals at a World Cup. I guess across a World Cup career, I should say. Having scored 17 times in her exploits with Brazil. Class oozes through those Brazilian boots. Morgan now allowed to re-enter. Sauerbrunn finds Klingenberg as Sophia Smith tries to take it out of the air with her chest. And allowed Krieger to get rid, but likely not to go for the header there, Smith. And now there's a long throw to come here from the substitute Weaver. Trying to get her grip on it. Launch in the area towards Haran, who does manage to flick on, but no real threat from a subsequent run, and it's gone out for a goal kick. Weaver, another high draft pick, number 2 overall in the college draft ahead of 2020. For a winning goal against North Carolina Courage in the Challenge Cup a year ago in the 1-8 matchup in Utah. Nice flick on there from Korniak. Marta. As it's well won there by Matukuika.
You can see Portland pushing high up the pitch, making Harris play that ball long and into that midfield. But unfortunately, when you have players like Korniak, she's most likely going to win that first phase. So for Portland, can they win that second and third phase after that initial header?
Rocky Rodriguez not quite getting her first touch since coming on right. Former NWSL Rookie of the Year, acquired ahead of 2020 from Sky Blue, has played every game available to her since joining the Thorns, either from the start or as a sub. As Morgan looked for a moment like she kept it in play, and it just skimmed over the byline and will be a goal kick. French rather deciding to keep it short there. Plenty of space for Emily Menges to come forward. Skill there to get turned the other way there from Smith. Again, directed towards goal there from Weaver, but never really troubling Harris. And Portland have struggled to create those clear-cut chances in the second half.
It's just that final third that they just need to clean up. You can already see with the substitutes, with the likes of Klingenberg, that's the ability to play in tight spaces, that 1-2 touch football, and really get connected to their midfields. Now moving forward, just over 15 minutes to go. Can they just clean up that final pass?
Rand trying to loft in and behind towards the run there of Morgan Weaver, but the second ball has come for Klingenberg. Not too much of it though for Korniak. Despite being an attacker, has done her fair share of the defensive work in this evening. So with aplomb in this evening. So with aplomb. Good step again there from Korniak.
It's great to see Magnus back into this lineup, and it's no disrespect to Hubley even after the mistake that she has made, but what she adds to this lineup is just, you know, that confidence, and she's played in the league for years. She's been at Portland for years as well, so she really is that leader on the pitch, and again, just being able to settle on the ball and set the tempo.
Her 8th season with the Thorns. Emily Menges, who tries to slide it in behind. Glowing quote from Mark Parsons saying that she exemplifies what it means to be a Thorns player. Smith. And Klingenberg in some space. Sliding behind there, perhaps towards Haran, but it was Weaver who's closest to it. It's away there from Orlando. Now perhaps can keep a defensive posture and perhaps strike on the break here. As Portland pour numbers forward. Klingenberg trying to find that ball in towards Sinclair. And it's just run out of real estate there for the Canadian international. Keep it in play. Nerf 296 caps for Canada. Sinclair.
And you can hear Ashlyn Harris, we got to keep fighting. And again, this is the leadership that she adds between the sticks. She's been such a leader both on and off the pitch, but again, late on in matches, can they hold out this win? Because Portland's really shifted the momentum, bringing those substitutes off the bench, starting to build, starting to find the dangerous players in this midfield pocket.
Now Kuika. Drifting through that penalty area. It's gone out for a goal kick. I've had a goal in one of our other NWSL matches tonight as Washington Spirit have taken a 1-0 lead over Houston Dash. Also have Kansas City and Chicago late in the first half. In the first Kansas City match at Field of Legends. Nodded in towards Haran. Receives with back to goal, but do want to get rounder there, Riley. But now I'll go at it here for Weaver. He's driving into traffic there as now Haran tries to think it in behind. Weaver again threatening as Smith really got that first touch, and LaRue a bit too far behind Korniak there. Samantha Staub with the goal for Washington to give themselves the 1-0 lead over Houston. Now Weaver. Challenge from behind there from Riley. Booted it away. It will be a throw-in just by the corner flag. Frustration there from Weaver and Klingenberg. And Weaver with a long throwing ability. Just fancied it to try and get one into the penalty area. Doesn't quite get the air on it that was required. Rather easily away there from Ellen Riley. Rather from LaRue. Here's Haran. Menges. Lovely turn there from Crystal Dunn. Her left-footed effort forces another save from Ashlyn Harris. One of them especially difficult, but in totality, a solid night from the Orlando keeper.
You can just see the build-up again. Center backs from Portland stepping in, and Crystal Dunn, this is where she thrives. In tight spaces, the ability with her ball at the feet, playing with her back towards the goal and knowing if I take this touch, I can spin my defender because I got the pace and power to get past. But this starts again with Magnus at that back, in that center back position where she steps through and really starts the pass from that back position.
Turning back nicely there, Marissa Vigiano. Now Korniak. Marta gets towards that byline, and could be a low cross, could be a strike on target. Either way, dealt with by the Portland keeper. Franz trying to get that distribution going quickly, but free kick won by Jan's daughter. Joined via trade ahead of the season from Kansas City, was a long time with Utah Royals. A professional debut at age 14. Starnjan in Iceland. A few players went on loan in NWSL towards the end of last year. And a few Orlando players getting some European experience. A few few Orlando players getting some European experience to fill the void. Riley and distance cross. Comes flashing through for Sydney Leroux. Measure the volley. He's got well underneath it there, hit it into the terrace. Behind that goal. With 8 minutes to play, Orlando still hanging on to that goal advantage, which they picked up very quickly into the second half. Pressing triggers coming there as Marta is nearly there to cause Rocky Rodriguez a problem. Sinclair just like to come back and join the build-up more and more. Cuica able to evade one challenge, gets the cross in away there from McClernand.
And Cuica's been very good down that right-hand side. Again, we haven't seen Portland just clinical enough in that final third, but we saw the quality of the ball distribution from her early on in that first 45 minutes. Now we're starting to see it late on in this second 45. We saw this earlier with Sydney Leroux, just grabbing after that quick shot that she had top of the box that missed wide, just grabbing that hamstring. So hopefully it's just a cramp. It's nothing too serious. Again, match after match, and just the work rate that she is putting in. I mean, defensively, offensively, getting on the score sheet and really setting the tempo from Orlando.
As a change will come in here as Ali Haran will enter for Marta. 25-year-old who signed a one-year contract ahead of the season. Been with North Carolina, been with Houston. Had a couple of appearances in the fall series, enough to earn another go with the team. And he comes on as a sub. As Marta will slowly make way. Leroux remains down. He's now helped up to her feet. But cramp would certainly be the hope. Perhaps the ability to carry on, although still 3 changes left available to the Orlando coach, Mark Skinner, who came to the U.S. after managing at Birmingham City in the English WSL. And more and more players from NWSL are going. Crystal Dunn with some experience in that league. Played for Chelsea. And of course, getting to the Women's Champions League final before losing to Barcelona at the last. Now Sinclair. Coming through is Lindsay Haran, who was a real threat, and Ali Riley doing just about enough to put her off.
This is where we see Haran really thrive, that late third midfield run. The ball, again, Sauerbrunn pushing into that midfield, and it's Sinclair with that vision, just trying to get those front runners in behind.
And with 5 minutes to play, Portland continue to chase an equalizer. It's a decent ball in. That last effort is now done. That's a nice ball to Haran on that left-hand side. Her first-time cross is cut out there, but not convincingly there by Haran. Now Dunn and Rodriguez. It's 360 on it, but leaving perhaps a bit too much of it there. The snapping challenges of McClernand. Sinclair. As Dunn digs the cross out. Again, it's just over 2 runners through that area, Sinclair and Weaver. And Harris can claim.
And Portland's starting to build and get into those dangerous areas. Again, it comes down to that final pass. It's just maybe a little bit overhit, or players just not reading what that late ball into the box is going to do.
Sauerbrunn. Nice dink in towards Haran with back to goal, trying to find that next option. It is with Sinclair, who Tries another long distance effort. That time, Jan's daughter in the way. What a shift she's put in tonight. As I guess Felling away from the ball as it come for Klingenberg. Nice work there. And still more to be done, but Dunn just about pouncing there on Haran. Dunn coming through. And her effort just sailing over. She felt like it was a corner. It just got underneath it there, Crystal Dunn.
Sloppy defending from this Orlando side late on the game. Obviously, Haran coming into this match as a late substitute. When you have the player like Crystal Dunn that is pressing you, she has the ability to maneuver her body and the strength and the power to get past you. And then the clinicalness of her on the ball. She's so smooth and silky with the ball at her feet. So for Haran coming into this game, can she just close out the match? No, nothing silly in and around the box. Feels pressure, put the ball out to play.
Sauerbrunn. And again, Dunn trying to cause Orlando a problem. Just dinks that cross through. Still got some decent power on it. Awkward there. Vigiano, I think it went onto her chest in that kind of area. Only can clear as far as Sophia Smith. Another good low cross hit, but no one to meet it in the middle for Portland. And it's clear there by McClernand. Now for the throw-in. Portland again trying to create that last opportunity. Orlando, as they did against North Carolina, just hanging on a bit. Keeping everything in front of them as Sauerbrunn comes all the way to the edge of the Orlando penalty area. It's sent through there from Klingenberg. Didn't quite catch it, but it was awkward enough that maybe Haran could run onto it, but Harris there first.
And naturally, this is what happens in games when you're 2-1 up, you're trying to defend a lead, you're exhausted. Orlando putting in 2 massive shifts, obviously a big win versus North Carolina and potentially a big win here tonight. So defensively, can they be switched on? Pick up late runners into the box of Portland.
Korniak trying to play through that trouble. It's awkward there from Menges, and now Morgan could be in here, running at Sauerbrunn. Here's Alex Morgan lining up a strike. It takes a deflection and will land just beyond the goal, but it will be a corner to Orlando. Well, Sauerbrunn always knew that she was lining up at left-footed strike, and the angle narrow enough to deal with it.
And it's good defending from Sauerbrunn. Obviously knows how Alex Morgan plays, knows where she thrives. We saw it early in that first 45 minutes where she scored that beautiful goal, splitting that center back fullback channel and hitting that one on the half volley with the assist from Korniak. So again, brilliant defending from Sauerbrunn.
Minimum of 6 minutes to be added on with a couple of lengthy stoppages. The injuries to both LaRue and Morgan, plus a fair few substitutions. 6 more minutes for Orlando to hang on. Get their 2nd straight win against impressive opposition. What a start to the season this would be if Orlando Pride can hang on, as Morgan doing good work from the corner. Trying to run into 2 defenders though and committed the foul. It's a quick decision there from the referee. And a free kick to Portland. And now here's the final change, given that it's the final substitution window. Chelsea Washington will come on here for Sydney LaRue. That's a vociferous ovation from the Orlando Pride supporters for scoring what has proven to be, for the moment, the winning goal. And it all comes from the kind of effort that you've given her plaudits for, Kaylin.
And player of the match for me, and it doesn't have anything to do with potentially the game-winning goal. It's what she's doing on and off the ball. I mean, she's gotten fitter. She looks faster.
It's temporarily away there from Krieger, but Sinclair was onto it. Haran now trying to get around the defender. Haran now on it once more. Pinging through that traffic and recovered by Vigiano, who just clears it out for a throw-in. Orlando with really only Morgan as the outlet. Maybe could have one final chance, but I think it'll be mostly defending. And just as I say that, Morgan is in behind Menges. Just tries to hang on to him. Might take it towards the corner flag as Menges does poke it out. Feeling for a throw into Portland, but not going to get it from the referee. It will be Orlando to take, and already the referee just making sure the ball is put back in play quickly.
And Chris, it's the commentator's curse.
Yeah.
I've done it time and time again, but with players like Alex Morgan, that's world class. I mean, you see defensively Orlando, just the tactical shift that they've done, adding 5 almost through that midfield defensively, leaving Alex Morgan as that lone wolf out top. But the ability she has to live on it, and that first touch allows others to join, and then the pace and power to get behind back lines is second to none.
Fresh trying to get going quickly. He left it there for Morgan to pounce, but instead picks out a good ball towards Weaver. Klingenberg trying to win it. Smart play though from Haran. Does look as though it's a back 5. The addition of a defender in Haran initially came on from Marta. And then from Kuika. Weaver sending it through the penalty area, not really causing a problem. And Orlando growing ever more confident. They'll exit their home ground with all 3 points in the bag. The supporters would love it. It would be an incredible start to the season for a club that's really struggled to hit the ground running these last few years. Last year was difficult for anybody, but 2019 was a real struggle in a World Cup year. So many World Cup players in the side. Mark Skinner has had time to implement his philosophy in his 3rd season. It appears to be coming off as Harris, it's a bit awkward there. Can claim there as Weaver pressed onto it in a flash and is encouraging her teammates to do the same. Rodriguez going over the substitute Chelsea Washington there, giving away a cheap free kick that allows Orlando to kill some more time.
And Harris really leading the charge on killing time. And this is what you want from your experienced players, to knock time off the clock. Obviously, you're 2-1 up. It's hot and humid. You're in the south of Florida. You want to keep building. I mean, 5 goals and only 5 goals for and only 3 goals against for the first 3 matches of the season says a lot about where Orlando is taking this team, where we haven't really seen that in the past.
Mark Skinner continuing to bark out instructions. They only have a minimum 1 minute left to defend. Be more, but Kuika sends the ball through. Sinclair was ghosting, needed that extra header there from Haran, who continues to organize that defense. Nearly winning it there, Washington, but it's Rodriguez who just has to take it out of play to avoid that challenge of Chelsea Washington. It'll be a throw into Orlando as all the fans start to sense this could be a win. Some on their feet. Everyone in behind the goal certainly on their feet. Dunn. Sinclair, as now Haran can charge into some space. Lindsay Haran has a go, and it's always sailing over the goal of Ashlyn Harris. And that should just be about it. Goalkeeper already appealing for it. Haven't quite had a minimum of 6 as yet, although we soon will. Only 7 points from 9 for Orlando. A 2nd straight defeat for Portland. Just a characteristic in their recent level of success in NWSL. And a yellow card now shown here for Ashlyn Harris. A bit unnecessary given we've already had the minimum of 6. Nearly about 35 seconds she took to put that ball back in play. Well, affording Portland one last go forward. Header initially one there from McClernand, who does well to poke it out for a throw. rather than concede the corner, we play on. Morgan. And McClernand just trying to marshal that one out. Rather, Peterson trying to marshal that out of play. It will be another throw to Portland. Another look at the watch there from Laura Rodriguez. Still no inclination to award full time, but now does after the offside flag up. We're actually not quite yet. And there